What if Kang the Conqueror, the tyrant of timelines, discovered a power even he could not subdue? What if an immortal phoenix, born in the heart of creation, rose to challenge the Conqueror's dominion? What if the fate of every universe hung in the balance as timelines and realities collided in a final secret war? Are you prepared to witness the ultimate saga that will shake the Marvel multiverse to its core? In a cosmos where fate and fury collide, our tale unfolds at the end of time itself. Amid the silent ruins of dying timelines stands a lone figure in gleaming armor, Kang the Conqueror. He gazes out from the citadel of Chronopolis, his city outside time, where countless eras sprawl beyond a shimmering dome. Through Kang's will, ancient Egypt lies captured in one corner, Victorian London in another, even far-future skylines in another. All epochs he has conquered and collected like trophies in his timeless stronghold. Once, this man was Nathaniel Richards, a scholar from the 31st century. Bored by the peace of his era, he turned to the thrill of conquest. Armed with stolen time travel technology, he journeyed first to the past and set himself up as Pharaoh Rama-Tut, seizing the throne of ancient Egypt and ruling as a god-king beneath the scorching sun. He has battled the Fantastic Four, traded blows with the Avengers, and even threatened to blow the moon out of the sky if Earth dared defy him. Over the centuries, Kang has worn many names: Rama-Tut, Scarlet Centurion, Immortus. But one goal has driven him above all: absolute dominion over the time stream and every reality. Yet, after conquering entire worlds and ages, Kang finds himself uneasy. In one timeline, he traveled to the year 4000 and easily subdued a war-torn Earth, only to feel conqueror's remorse ruling a lifeless, ruined future. In his relentless quest, he has won more victories than he can count, so many that triumph has lost its savor. The once bored scholar is now an emperor of eternity, and paradoxically he is bored again. Kang quietly laments like a modern Alexander the Great. He has no new worlds left to conquer, and that realization cuts deeper than any enemy's blade. It turns out managing an empire that spans millennia can get tedious, even for a genius in a purple helmet. But a conqueror's pride won't let him rest. And unknown to Kang, beyond the veil of reality, something else has sensed the disturbance of his temporal conquests, and it is far from impressed. For while Kang sits upon the edge of time, polishing his triumphs, the multiverse begins to shudder. Long ago, there was a fragile peace between Kang and his own variants, alternate versions of himself that lurk in other universes. They once formed a council of Kangs to divide the spoils of time. But that peace has since crumbled into paranoia and betrayal. Now, across countless branching timelines, multiple Kangs prepare for war, each variant determined to be the one true conqueror. Ages passed. A variant known as He Who Remains feared exactly this chaos. He isolated one sacred timeline and pruned all others to prevent another multiversal war. But that guardian is gone, his sacred order shattered, and infinite new timelines spiral out, ripe for Kang's taking. The Council of Kangs convenes in the shadows, each plotting against the others. Some seek alliance, others seek annihilation. And one Kang, our Kang, decides he will seize control over all realities before his variants can. The peace between realities has erupted into all-out war, with each Kang fighting to preserve their universe and conquer the others. Time itself becomes a battleground, and the multiverse strains under the onslaught. Incursions, catastrophic collisions between universes, begin to occur with alarming frequency. Where Kang's schemes destabilize the time stream, entire realities start to bleed into one another. Planets tremble as the sky itself tears open to reveal another Earth looming above. In one universe, an Avengers team watches in horror as a parallel Earth hangs in their atmosphere, the two worlds on a collision course. Iron Man and Mr. Fantastic frantically devise a plan to stave off the incursion. But it's too late. With a thunderous crack, the colliding planets obliterate each other in a flash of light. Two entire universes are extinguished in an instant. And this is just the beginning. From his citadel, Kang observes these incursions with cold eyes. To him, they are both hazard and opportunity. The Conqueror knows that if unchecked, these collisions could destroy everything. But if he can position himself just right, he might rule whatever remains. Kang's gauntleted fingers tighten around the railing as he watches universes die. He tells himself this is all necessary, his necessary evil to prevent a greater catastrophe. That's what conquerors do. He mutters under his breath, repeating a mantra. They burn the broken worlds and make a new one. In his heart, however, Kang is uneasy. For all his planning, something unexpected is slipping through the cracks of time. Far across the stars, it awakens. In the abyss of space, beyond mortal ken, a cosmic firebird stirs from slumber. The Phoenix Force, an immortal entity of pure life and power, has sensed the multiverse tipping toward oblivion. This being is no mere cosmic spectator. It is the prime universal force of life, born of the void between states of being. Where Kang commands timelines, the Phoenix commands creation itself. It is the nexus of all psionic energy that ever was or will be, an eternal flame that can never be truly extinguished. For eons, the Phoenix Force has watched civilizations rise and fall, intervening only at pivotal moments when the cycle of life and death must be balanced. Now, with entire universes breaking, as if threads in a grand tapestry, the Phoenix knows an unnatural hand is at work. It senses that time itself has been twisted towards destruction, and that is something the Phoenix Force cannot ignore. On a serene blue world in one branch of the multiverse, a young woman jolts awake from a nightmare of flames. Jean Grey, once a gentle telepath and member of the X-Men, feels the fire in her soul surging. She has been a host of the Phoenix Force before, and it nearly consumed her. In her dream, she saw planets burning and heard a relentless whisper, "Rise, it's time." Now Jean stands at the window of her bedroom, looking at the night sky. To her alarm, one of the stars above suddenly flares bright, too bright, and then vanishes entirely. She doesn't know it, but she's just witnessed a distant universe perishing in an incursion. A fiery raptor shape flickers in her eyes. The Phoenix Force, bonded to her, senses the threat to all that lives. In moments, Jean is enveloped in a corona of cosmic fire. With a cry that is both human and otherworldly, she transforms into the Phoenix. Her silhouette is wreathed in a magnificent blaze, a fiery bird of cosmic flames unfurling its wings behind her. Jean's consciousness intermingles with the Phoenix's vast presence. She feels sorrow, fury, and resolve not entirely her own. We must act, the Phoenix urges within her. All life is at risk. Clad in a red-gold aura, Jean Grey rises into the sky, propelled by telekinetic force. On the lawn below, her friends, the X-Men, rush out, astonished. Cyclops calls her name, his voice trembling. He's seen her as the Phoenix before and knows the danger. "Jean." Phoenix looks down tenderly. For a moment, Jean's voice comes through. "They need me, Scott. I'm sorry." Then, with a sonic boom, she soars into space, leaving the atmosphere in seconds. The Phoenix Force carries its host toward the cosmic battlefield. Jean's earthly concerns fall away as alien stars streak past. She is headed to the epicenter of this multiversal chaos, drawn like a moth to a flame, or perhaps like a savior to a crisis. Back at Chronopolis, Kang has detected a new player on his board. His instruments, advanced beyond anything in the 21st century, flash with alarms of a sudden spike in cosmic energy. A holographic star map of the multiverse displays a fiery blot moving rapidly across realities. Kang's eyebrows arch beneath his helmet. He recognizes the signature. there were legends of a fiery entity seen at moments of great upheaval. "The Phoenix Force," Kang mutters, recalling fragments of data he'd collected from timelines where mutants and cosmic beings roamed. In one timeline's ancient scrolls, or perhaps an alternate futures database, he read of the Phoenix, power to create or destroy anything, the immortal fire of rebirth and destruction. Kang's lip curls into what might be a smile or a sneer. If this cosmic firebird thinks to interfere with his plans, it will learn that the Master of Time suffers no rivalry. Still, Kang knows better than to underestimate such power. He swiftly issues commands to prepare his battle armada, massive, time-traversing warships that gleam with stolen vibranium and nth metal, and an army of chronobots primed for combat. Kang decides to meet this Phoenix Force head-on, to either bend it to his will or eliminate it from the chessboard entirely. As Jean Grey hurtles through the cosmos, guided by the Phoenix's omniscience, she suddenly senses a distortion ahead. Space itself ripples open, a portal carved by 40th century technology. Jean halts in a swirl of flame just as a colossal ship materializes before her, blocking her path. The vessel is impossibly sleek and bristling with weapons that glow with temporal energy. On its bridge stands Kang, staring out at the floating, flame-wreathed figure of the Phoenix host. For a moment, both hang in the void, two silhouettes facing off amid swirling stars and fractured realities. Kang speaks, amplifying his voice through a projector. "I know you can hear me, Phoenix," he says, voice smooth and imperious. "This is not your fight. Turn back, and I might spare your universe." Inside her mind, Jean hears the echo of his words. The Phoenix Force within her rages at the arrogance. Jean's eyes narrow, glowing ember bright. She answers with a thought projected directly into Kang's mind, her telepathy easily cutting through his ship's shields. "You threaten all that lives. I will not turn back." Her voice is layered, Jean's determination fused with the primordial fury of the Phoenix. Without another word, Kang opens fire. Beams of concentrated chronal energy lance toward Jean, intending to trap her in a time loop or disintegrate her at the molecular level. But the Phoenix Force erupts from Jean in a blazing aura, a shield of cosmic fire that deflects the beams as though they were mere arrows hitting the sun. Jean raises a hand and the Phoenix responds. An enormous bird-shaped flame bursts forth, striking Kang's flagship. Alarms blare as half of the ship's weapons go dark, melted by the intensity of the cosmic fire. Kang staggers but quickly recovers. He is nothing if not prepared. With a gesture, he activates a temporal vortex. A swirling maelstrom of blue light engulfs Jean from behind. Suddenly, she is assaulted by visions, moments from her past, from her future, all jumbled. Kang is trying to yank her out of the present by drowning her in time itself. Jean cries out as she sees flashes. Her childhood, the day she first met Professor Xavier, the moment she first became the Phoenix. She even sees a possible future, herself as the Dark Phoenix, losing control and weeping on the moon's cold surface as she chose to die as Jean Grey rather than let the cosmic power consume her. No, Jean clenches her fists, and with the Phoenix's might, she shatters Kang's temporal illusion. Her memories snap back into place. The Phoenix Force roars within her, enraged now. With a sweep of her fiery wings, Phoenix Jean unleashes a cosmic inferno. It washes over Kang's ship, collapsing its force fields in an instant. Kang's monitors sputter. Hull integrity is failing. In a last gambit, Kang triggers a containment device, a spherical trap of chronal energy around the Phoenix. For a heartbeat, Jean finds herself encased in a shimmering bubble that strains to shrink around her, attempting to lock her in a timeless stasis. Kang pours all his will into the device, veins throbbing in his neck. Slowly, agonizingly, the sphere begins to contract, compressing the Phoenix's aura. Jean screams, the sound echoing both in space and telepathically across light years. The bubble's interior floods with lethal radiation from the dawn of time, meant to snuff out the Phoenix's flame. For one dreadful moment, it seems Kang might have actually contained the cosmic entity, but the Phoenix is life incarnate, and it will not be caged. In an awe-inspiring burst, the containment sphere shatters. A shockwave of raw power ripples outward, tossing Kang's warship like a toy. Kang is thrown to the deck as all systems go haywire. Through the viewports, he sees the Phoenix host hovering free, blazing brighter than ever, an avenging angel in the void. Jean's voice rings out in Kang's mind, thunderous and ancient. "I am fire and life incarnate. You cannot contain me." With that, Jean unleashes a focused beam of white-hot Phoenix energy straight at Kang's flagship. It spears through the hull. Kang barely manages to activate an emergency time shift. In a blink, he and portions of his ship are teleported a few seconds into the future, evading the full brunt of the blast. His ship, or what's left of it, limps away into a fracture in space-time, disappearing from the Phoenix's sight. Jean pants, her human heart pounding within the cosmic fire. She has driven off Kang for now, but she knows he is not truly defeated, merely in retreat. The Phoenix within her hungers to pursue and finish him, but something else demands her attention. All around, the fabric of reality is unraveling. The violent clash of Phoenix and Conqueror has further destabilized the multiverse. Like cracks spiderwebbing through glass, new fissures open in space. Jean senses more incursions imminent. The Phoenix Force floods her mind with knowledge. If these cascades of destruction continue, everything, every universe will burn to ash, and even the Phoenix may not be able to rekindle the ashes. And so, the Phoenix makes a fateful choice. Gathering its fiery energies around Jean, it dives into one of the dimensional fissures, effectively chasing Kang through time and space toward the next convergence point of universes. Jean feels herself stretching, existing in multiple realities at once. It's a strange, disorienting sensation, as if being in many dreams simultaneously. Through it all, she holds tight to her purpose. Stop Kang, save what can be saved. Meanwhile, Kang's damaged flagship limps back to Chronopolis, materializing above the citadel's spires with smoking hull plates. Kang is furious, humiliated, and alarmed. That confrontation did not go as planned. He hadn't expected the Phoenix Force to be that formidable. His armor's systems hiss as they self-repair scorched circuitry. Kang storms into his throne chamber and calls forth a dozen holographic screens. Each displays a different universe, many of them blinking red with warning signs of incursion. The Conqueror realizes the Phoenix's outburst has accelerated the crisis. Universes are literally falling apart faster now. For once, Kang's calculations and composure falter. Could even he manage to control this cataclysm? His eyes dart to one screen showing a barren purple world, the void at the end of time, where once he who remains ruled. Kang scowls. That variant had suppressed all this chaos ages ago, but at the cost of Kang's freedom, never again. If a multiversal collapse is coming, Kang will ride it out on his own terms. He refuses to let all his conquests slip away into nothingness. If reality must break, he will forge something from its broken pieces. Kang issues new orders. In Chronopolis's depths, the heart of forever, a trans-chronal engine that powers the city, begins to thrum at maximum capacity. Kang's minions, loyal time-shifted warriors and robotic servants, hurry to prepare contingency plans. The Conqueror is going to do the unthinkable, use Chronopolis to anchor himself through the coming storm of realities. If universes die, he will pluck what he needs from their ashes and bind them to his city. It is a desperate gambit, but one Kang believes only he is bold enough to attempt. As the incursions multiply, Entire galaxies wink out like dying embers. On countless Earths across the multiverse, heroes and villains alike struggle against doom. We catch glimpses. On one Earth, Doctor Strange stands atop the Sanctum Sanctorum, casting spells frantically to hold back a wave of nothingness consuming reality. On another, an aged Captain America leads an army of heroes to evacuate civilians through a portal, even as the ground cracks beneath them. In one universe, an alternate Tony Stark and T'Challa build a last-second lifeboat ship to save a handful of people from the end of everything. In another, Doctor Doom, ever opportunistic, reaches out with forbidden power to grasp at the core of the collapsing multiverse. But that is another story. These vignettes flash by like scenes from innumerable tragedies. Worlds end, timelines burn. Through it all, a fiery streak and a shadowy streak weave between universes. The Phoenix chasing Kang, racing through collapsing realities toward an inevitable showdown. Finally comes the day. If day even has meaning when time and space are breaking, when the last incursion arrives. The final surviving universes, perhaps 2 or 3, are set to collide. Kang's moment is now. At the epicenter of the final collision, Kang activates the Heart of Forever. Chronopolis itself lurches and expands outward, its dome stretching like a bubble. The converging universes crash together in a blinding apocalypse, and when the light clears, something astounding remains. A patchwork planet, a single world cobbled together from fragments of many. Battleworld is born from the corpse of the multiverse. Where once there were countless worlds, now there is one, a titanic world, with pieces of different realities fused together. Jagged boundaries stitch the landscape. Here, a piece of New York City from one universe. There, a shard of Asgard from another. A desert wasteland abuts a futuristic metropolis which borders a medieval kingdom and a realm of zombies. It is chaotic, it is perilous, and above all, it is under Kang's dominion. Or so he believes. High above Battleworld, floating chunks of what was once Chronopolis now form Kang's new fortress. He has succeeded in salvaging pieces of dying realities, domains, and embedding them in this amalgamated world. Kang stands at the balcony of a rebuilt citadel, a mix of futuristic metal and ancient stone, as mismatched as the world below, and surveys his handiwork. All around the horizon, the sky is a patchwork of day and night, with stars from different universes hanging together in unnatural constellations. Kang allows himself a triumphant grin. This battle world will be his new empire, born of the multiverse's end. He declares himself God Emperor Kang, absolute ruler of all that remains. Across the scattered domains of Battleworld, those who survived the final incursion hear his voice boom from the heavens. Kang is broadcasting via every stolen tech and mystical conduit. Reality is mine to shape now. Kneel and live under my eternal rule, or resist and be destroyed. On one patch of ground far below, a group of dazed heroes from various universes find themselves thrown together, remnants saved unintentionally by Kang's stitching of world fragments. They include a battle-weary Thor from one realm, the Black Panther from another, a variant of Spider-Man, and even a hardened Doctor Strange. They exchange bewildered glances. This is not the afterlife they expected. Somehow, they are still alive, now prisoners on a Frankenstein planet under a tyrant's voice. But the spirit of heroes is not so easily broken. "We survived," mutters T'Challa, clenching his fist. "And as long as we live, we fight." Thor grips his hammer, lightning sparking in the alien sky. Spider-Man cracks his knuckles and tries to lighten the moment. Patchwork planet, evil overlord, bunch of heroes from different worlds. Anyone else getting a very weird sense of déjà vu? Doctor Strange's eyes narrow. He senses a familiar, mystical presence still at work. "The battle isn't over yet," he says quietly. Indeed, above them, Kang's triumphant monologue is interrupted by a fiery streak rising from the remains of a shattered land. Jean Grey, the Phoenix, has also survived, carried to Battleworld by the same forces that merged the realities. Kang's demand for fealty is met with a defiant shriek from the Phoenix as Jean soars upward, her flames casting an amber glow across the patchwork terrain. She had shielded herself in Phoenix fire during the final incursion, protecting herself, and perhaps even a few others, to carry them through the cosmic storm. Now she emerges, the cosmic flame reborn stronger than ever amidst this new world. In his fortress, Kang feels that prickling dread again. On a world of his own making, he did not expect a challenger to rise so soon. "You again," he growls, eyes narrowing as he fixes on the Phoenix blazing in the sky. He will not tolerate it. He commands his shock troopers, time-displaced warriors and robotic enforcers, to attack. From the citadel pours a legion of Kang's forces, dozens of armored soldiers wielding advanced weapons, and a squadron of drones shaped like mechanical raptors, all converging on the Phoenix. The heroes on the ground watch as Kang's forces streak past overhead. "That firebird, could it be on our side?" Spider-Man asks, shielding his eyes against the glare. Doctor Strange, recognizing the Phoenix Force's signature, nods. "It appears so, and we should assist before Kang overwhelms her." With renewed hope, this ragtag band of survivors launches themselves into the fray. Thor leaps to the sky with Mjolnir in hand. Black Panther and Spider-Man swing and sprint across terrain to engage Kang's troops. Strange begins casting spells to thin out the swarms. The secret war for Battleworld has truly begun. Battles erupt across the bizarre landscape as those who refuse to bow fight back against Kang's dominion. Jean, as Phoenix, is heartened to see these brave souls coming to her aid. For the first time since this cosmic calamity began, she is not alone. Still, her primary target is clear: Kang himself. She plows through the oncoming drones. They melt to slag in her fiery wake. Energy blasts from Kang's soldiers ricochet off her flaming aura. Phoenix Jean retaliates with bursts of cosmic flame, knocking the invaders from the sky. But Kang's legions are numerous and relentless. A few manage to encircle her with crackling cables that emit temporal feedback loops, each loop threatening to weaken the Phoenix by distorting her sense of time and self. Jean falters momentarily as one loop latches onto her, making her experience a moment of disorientation. Seeing this, Kang's soldiers seize the opportunity and fire a volley of gravimetric missiles. They detonate around Phoenix in a localized gravity well, trying to crush her under immense pressure. High above, Kang watches with cold satisfaction. "Burn her out," he commands through gritted teeth. "Show the Phoenix what true power is." But Kang has underestimated the resolve and unity of those who stand against him. With a thunderous impact, Thor crashes into the scene, shattering the gravity well with a swing of Mjolnir. "Rise, Phoenix!" he shouts, placing himself between Jean and the enemy. Black Panther slashes through the temporal cables binding her, his suit's energy claws tearing through the advanced tech. Spider-Man zips around the battlefield, using webbing and wit to yank weapons out of enemy hands. Yoink! Don't mind me just taking that. Doctor Strange summons the Crimson Bands of Cyttorak, ensnaring several of Kang's troopers in unbreakable bindings of magic. Working in concert, these heroes dismantle the first wave of Kang's attack. Jean regains her bearings, her fiery aura swelling once more. She nods gratefully to her newfound allies. Their bravery has rekindled her flame brighter. The immediate threat is repelled, but the battle is far from over. With a crackle of energy, Kang himself descends from his citadel on a hovering platform. He refuses to let this rebellion continue any further. Clad in shimmering battle armor now augmented by the energy of entire timelines, he looks down upon the assembled heroes and the Phoenix with disdain. In his hand, he carries a spear-like scepter crackling with stolen cosmic power. perhaps an artifact taken from a fallen god on one of the domains. In the other hand, swirling temporal orbs dance between his fingers, each containing the potential to freeze a continent in time or age a city into dust. "You dare defy me?" Kang's voice booms, layered with fury and an undertone of desperation. "I offered you survival under my rule, and you choose oblivion? So be it." He unleashes a devastating blast of temporal energy toward the ground. The heroes scatter as the spot where they stood a moment before is engulfed in a vortex of whirling clock faces and blue lightning. The shockwave knocks them off their feet. Even Thor is sent tumbling, and Strange's wards flicker under the assault. Kang's mastery of time is on full display. With a gesture, he stops the very air around the heroes. Black Panther and Spider-Man find themselves suddenly frozen mid-motion, trapped in a bubble of halted time. Another flick of Kang's wrist, and Thor's mighty form begins to age rapidly, the god's hair graying, face wrinkling in mere seconds as Kang tries to turn him into an old man on the spot. "I have conquered eternity itself," Kang declares. What hope have mortal vermin and a false god against Kang the Eternal? Jean Grey, however, is not so easily cowed. The phoenix within her snarls at this affront. She darts in front of her allies and projects a wave of phoenix fire that washes over them, counteracting Kang's temporal manipulations. Spider-Man and T'Challa gasp as time starts moving for them again, and Thor's unnatural aging halts, then reverses, his vitality restored by the life-giving flames. Now it is Phoenix versus Kang, round 2, but this time on the ground of Battleworld, with comrades at Jean's side. "Yield, Kang!" Jean calls out, her voice echoing with the Phoenix's might. "Your reign is over." For a moment, Kang sees in her not just the young mutant, but a figure wreathed in cosmic fire and backed by the unwavering stares of heroes, a true adversary. Kang's eyes burn with defiance. Never. He raises his scepter and channels the last reserve of his omnipotent stolen energies. A beam of coruscating power, containing strands of time, pure entropy and godfire, hurtles toward Jean. She meets it with a beam of phoenix flame. The two forces collide in mid-air between them, with a crack like the birth of a star. The ground rips open from the force, reality flickers. All of Battleworld seems to hold its breath, as Kang the Conqueror and the Phoenix host pour everything they have into this clash. Inch by inch, Kang's beam pushes into Phoenix's flame, driven by his indomitable will to dominate. Yet Jean digs deeper, fueled by love, hope, and the literal power of life itself. "Impossible!" Kang snarls, feeling himself give way. In that instant, Jean gets the upper hand. With a final cry, she overwhelms Kang's energy, her phoenix fire engulfing him in a brilliant blaze. Kang is knocked backward, his armor cracking, the scepter flying from his grasp. He collapses to one knee, panting, as smoke rises from his scorched cape. The once invincible conqueror now looks up in shock and rage at the phoenix circling above him. Jean floats down and lands before Kang. Flames subside around her, revealing her face, determined, compassionate. She has him beaten. The surviving heroes gather around in a loose circle, ready to act should Kang try anything. Kang lets out a shuddering breath. For a moment, his proud features falter into despair. Everything he fought for, his empire of time, his ultimate power, is slipping away. In a final act of spite, Kang activates one last contingency, a self-destruct within his armor, not to kill anyone else, but to deny his enemies the satisfaction of capturing him. His suit begins to glow and overload red. "If I fall, I'll take you with me," he hisses. But Jean is faster. In the blink of an eye, she envelops Kang in a cocoon of phoenix energy, containing the blast. Kang's armor detonates in a furious burst of chrono energy. Yet when the light fades, Jean stands unharmed, and Kang lies on the ground, defeated and alive. His armor now nothing but shattered pieces around him. He is just a man now, a man out of time and out of tricks. The heroes step forward. Thor raises his hammer, prepared to finish Kang if need be. But Jean gently motions for restraint. She steps closer to Kang's prone form. He looks up at her, eyes filled with equal parts hatred and anguish. In that moment, Jean's gaze softens. Perhaps she sees the lonely soul of Nathaniel Richards, twisted by centuries of ambition. "It's over," she says quietly. Kang's head droops. The Conqueror has no more fight left. This war, is lost. Suddenly, the ground quakes beneath their feet. Without Kang's stabilizing will, or the Heart of Forever's control, Battleworld itself starts to destabilize. Cracks in the sky reappear. The patchwork land trembles. Reality isn't done reordering itself. Doctor Strange warns, this world cannot hold together much longer. Indeed, Battleworld was an unnatural construct. Now that its architect has fallen, it begins to break apart. Jean knows what must be done. The Phoenix Force flares around her once more, but this time its flames are gentle, hopeful. "We have to let go," she says to her allies. "Each fragment world must return to where it belongs, or else all will collapse." The heroes nod, trusting her completely. Channeling the Phoenix's cosmic power, Jean ascends above, shining like a beacon. One by one, the pieces of Battleworld begin to peel away and rise toward her light. The boundaries between them dissolve. It's a breathtaking sight. Entire realms lifting off, turning translucent, then vanishing, presumably sent back to reform their original universes. The heroes themselves feel a tug. They too are being pulled back to the realities from which they came. It is a bittersweet moment. They have fought together and forged bonds in this crucible, but now must say farewell. Thor clasps T'Challa's arm in a warrior's shake before fading. Spider-Man gives a weary salute. Strange bows his head in thanks to Jean. Each hero is whisked away in a beam of Phoenix light, returned to their home world at the exact moment they left. Memories of this grand conflict already starting to feel like a dream. Jean Grey remains until the last, ensuring every fragment of existence finds its place. Finally, only she and Kang remain in the void. The battle world gone, universes reset. Kang, stripped of power, looks around in disoriented awe and dread. All his conquests undone, all his empire vanished into the cosmic dawn. He is a man without a timeline now. Jean hovers before him, the phoenix wings spread protectively. Kang, in a rare moment of humility, can only whisper, "Why? Why save me?" The phoenix's voice echoes gently through Jean, because even a conqueror's life is a life. This is the lesson of rebirth. Kang is left speechless. With a final compassionate look, Jean allows the phoenix to envelop Kang. There is a flash, and Kang the Conqueror is gone, transported to somewhere else. Perhaps a barren, uninhabited earth where he can harm no one. Perhaps a prison outside time. Only the phoenix knows. In the next heartbeat, Jean Grey finds herself back where it all began, on the lawn of the Javier Institute, in her universe, under a peaceful morning sky. The Phoenix Force has departed her, its cosmic duty fulfilled for now. Jean is herself again, exhausted but alive, cradled by her astonished and overjoyed friends. The nightmare is over. The multiverse endures, renewed by fire and hope. Days later, as Jean reflects on the epic saga, she is haunted by unanswered questions. She stands by her window at twilight, watching the first stars appear. Did she truly see the last of Kang the Conqueror? Or will he, like the phoenix, rise again? She remembers the look in Kang's eyes at the end, that mix of defeat and cunning. Out there in the infinite timelines, Kang may yet find a way to return. The thought sends a chill down her spine. But Jean also feels the phoenix's ember warm within her soul, assuring her that if ever the cycle of chaos begins anew, the forces of creation will be there to meet it. Our tale concludes as a new dawn breaks across the restored multiverse. Peace has been won at a heavy price, and the scars of this secret war will remain in legends and hearts. But as long as there are heroes to unite and a phoenix to rise, hope will never truly die. And so we leave you with one final question, one that will echo across the cosmos until fate calls the phoenix and the conqueror once more. In a multiverse reborn from fire and time, will the conqueror rise anew from the ashes?